top. No, I'm not gonna be afraid. I'll fix it on the front line. I'm not what you say. If I'm dancing when I wanna, please don't judge me. If I'm smiling when I'm under, please don't judge me. I just ran through the fire, please don't judge me. Please don't judge me. I just walk in the wire, please don't judge me. Please don't judge me. I don't know if you have noticed, I'm doing me and I love it. I just ran through the fire, please don't judge me. Please don't judge me. If you don't give me no help, now I do it all by myself now. I just ran through the fire, please don't judge me. Please don't judge me. Help me sing now. Help me sing now. Help me sing now. Help me sing right now. Help me sing now. Help me sing now. Please don't judge me. If I'm dancing when I wanna, please don't judge me. If I'm smiling when I'm under, please don't judge me. I just ran through the fire, please don't judge me. Please don't judge me. I just walk in the wire, please don't judge me. Please don't judge me. I don't know if you have noticed, I'm doing me and I
Gospel 88.7 WEHA. It's more than music. It's ministry.
WEHA, Port Republic, Atlantic City, and now on FM translator 100.3 W262CF, Atlantic City.
Hey, you like football? I know you like football. You looking for a place to watch the Super Bowl? Well, we got you a place to watch some dark football. WEHA's gonna hook you up because Gospel 88.7 and 100.3 FM WEHA, we have Gospel presents the Sunday Super Bowl Buffet. That's right, it's a buffet going down where you can watch the Super Bowl and eat your favorite foods. It's a large buffet of heavy appetizers and desserts, assorted juices, sodas, punch, and plenty of H2O. It's even going to have some halftime games and giveaways. You know when it's happening, Super Bowl Sunday. That's right, Sunday, February 2nd, 2020. Doors open at 5 p.m. Kickoff is at 6:30 p.m. at the Beacon Hall, 243 St. Louis Avenue, Egg Harbor City, New Jersey. Admission is $20 per person, $10 for children 12 and under. And you better RSVP because it's limited seating. You want tickets? Do you want tickets? I said, do you want tickets? The number to call is 609-641-8870. Or you can get your tickets at wehavegospel.com. Super Bowl Sunday, you gotta be at Beacon Hall to see the big game. Of course, we're rooting for the Eagles around here. We're so happy that they got farther than Dallas this year.
WEHA, Christ-centered, community-focused. Deacon William Hawks, President. WEHA is a listener-supported radio station. To make a donation, call 609-641-8870. Visit our headquarters at 3 Canal Drive, Egg Harbor Township, New Jersey, 08234. Or log on to our website, wehavegospel.com.
We have gospel.
If you just tuned in, you're listening to In the Community with Dr. Thelma Witherspoon right here on your favorite gospel radio station, WEHA Gospel 88.7, 100.3 FM. We have gospel. We are live in the studio today, and we have a wonderful program for you. And we want you to keep those dials locked to WEHA. This broadcast is being sponsored in part by the Hawks family businesses who have been serving our community for over 30 years, and Beacon Hall, turning moments into memories. And last but not least, Grace Tabernacle Church, Bishop Wandell Johnson and Pastor Gloria Johnson. Thank you so much for sponsoring In the Community with Dr. Thelma Witherspoon. I really appreciate your sponsorship and just believing in me I really do. I really do. There's a few things that are going on that I want to make sure that my listening audience is totally aware of what's going on in our community. First and foremost, I have to say congratulations to WEHA. WEHA, where we made it to the small market category for radio stations of the year. And of course, we have to go to Las Vegas and see if we won. We hope that we win the Stella. We're going up against three other small market radio stations. But I'm just thank God that we are in the number. We are in the number. WEHA is in the number. So I'm really excited about that. So again, congratulations to WEHA. And certainly we want to bring that third Stella home to South Jersey. So keep WEHA in your prayers. Talking about that on Super Bowl Sunday. Super Bowl Sunday will be on February the 2nd. And come and join us at a Sunday Super Bowl buffet. And this is going to be held at Beacon Hall, 243 South Lewis Avenue in Egg Harbor City. And they're going to have everything. It's a large buffet of heavy appetizers and desserts, assorted juices, sodas, punch, and plenty of H2O. There will be halftime games and giveaways. It's $20 per person and $10 for children, $10 for children 12 and under. But I tell you, some of these kids that are 12 can eat just like an adult. But anyway, you have the RSVP. It's limited seating. You can call us at 609-641-8870, or you can get your tickets on the website, www.wehavegospel.com/events. And you can watch the game on the huge HD screen. I'm excited for the Kansas City Chiefs, although they're not my team. Neither is San Francisco. It's going to be a good game. And I could go for either or, but really I'm going for Kansas City because I want to see Andy Reid come home with his ring. So that's just my little personal thing, okay? We want to invite you to let you know that today Atlantic City's first annual family conference will be held at the All Wars Memorial Building, also known as the Soldiers Home. It's going to be from 10 a.m. to 3 o'clock p.m. And they're going to be serving lunch there. And they have been working so hard, Shalonda Austin. They've been working so hard, her and her team, to make sure that this conference is beautiful. So if you're not doing nothing, it's free. They're going to have all type of workshops. They have the whole building, first, second, and third floor. So go over, stop on by, because perhaps there is some information that you could benefit from, or know someone that could benefit from the information that's going to be given out on today. Also, Mayor Jesse Tweedle will not be seeking re-election. I saw that yesterday, but I wanted to congratulate him on all of his efforts and everything that he has done for the last 3 terms, 14 years. So again, congratulations to Mayor Jesse Tweedle for a job well done. All right, and so that's going on. Also, everyone also knows that Freeholder Ashley Bennett is not seeking re-election for Atlantic County Freeholder for District 3, which is Egg Harbor Township and portions of Hamilton Township. And I'm very excited to announce that she endorsed me for her seat. So it's unofficial, but something official will be coming out very, very shortly. Wanted to make sure that my listening audience was aware of that. Also, there has been the Auschwitz Liberation Anniversary, and that was from the Holocaust. The liberation has been 75 years. They're going to be having a commemoration in Poland at the German Nazi concentration and extermination camp Auschwitz-Birkenau in Poland. And that happened in 1945. The Katz Jewish Center, 501 North Jerome Avenue in Margate, will host a live simulcast viewing of the 75th anniversary commemoration at Auschwitz Birkenau from 9:30 to 11 a.m. The viewing is free and open to the public on a first-come, first-served basis. For more information, you can call 609-652-4699. Also, there's going to be a bus trip to the United Nations Holocaust Memorial Ceremony in New York, and it will leave the Stockton Campus Center in Galloway at 6:45 a.m. and return at 5:30 p.m. The cost is $10. It includes a guided tour of the UN and access to the ceremony. Lunch will be available for purchase in the UN cafeteria. To reserve your seat, call Irvin at 609-652-4699. I don't normally announce anything that has an amount to it, but because of the celebration and the economical fee of $10 to go to New York, I thought I would announce that in case someone out there in my listening audience would like to go to that. The events are co-sponsored by Sarah and Sam Scoffner, the Holocaust Resource Center at Stockton, Stockton's Masters of Arts in Holocaust and Genocide Studies program, the Sam Aziz Museum of Woodbine, Heritage of Stockton, the Milton and Betty Katz Jewish Community Center, and the Auschwitz Birkenau Memorial Foundation. So that is going on, and also a lot of survivors, which I didn't know that we had right here in our area, will be going to Poland or have already traveled to Poland for the ceremony. I'm going to read a little poem in dedication to all of those who survived and all of those who didn't survive the Auschwitz camp. I beg you, do something, learn a dance step, something to justify your existence, something that gives you the right to be dressed in your skin, in your body hair. Learn to walk and to laugh, because it would be too senseless after all for so many to have died while you live doing nothing with your life. Charlotte Delbo, Auschwitz and After. So that was a dedication to everyone, to all of the survivors from the Holocaust. Certainly, again, we want you to continue to support WEHA. We are out here and in the community and doing a whole lot of things in our community. I have a great show for you on today, and I have two guests, Dr. Sandri Bermudez and Dr. Cruz, who is actually in Puerto Rico and will be calling from Puerto Rico to give us a update on what's going on since the earthquake, the 6.4 earthquake. And so many times we're complaining about a lot of things, and we don't really need to complain. When you look at someone else, we really just need to be thankful for what we have. Also, I did receive a communication that there's going to be a census seminar, and it's going to be held on Thursday. It's going to be held on Thursday, and let me pull that up. Okay, the Center for Cooperation Media at Montclair State University with the Atlantic City branch of the NAACP and the Light with Raymond Tyler invites you to a community discussion about the 2020 census. This is free and is open to the public. It's on Thursday, January 30th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. and it's going to be held at the St. Augustine's Episcopal Church, 1709 Arctic Avenue in Atlantic City. Free parking, free refreshments. The topics of discussion: why the census is important to the Black community, why everyone needs to be counted in 2020, census jobs, and the facts. So if you're not doing anything, you want more information on that, It's free. It's open to the public. Going out to St. Augustine's Episcopal Church, 1709 Arctic Avenue in Atlantic City. And again, we want you to continue to support WEHA. It is huge. It is huge that we are reached one of the radio stations of the year. That's huge. Nationwide, and I'm very excited about that. The Stellas will be at the end of March, March 27th, I believe, and 28th will be the Stellas, the pre-taping of the Stellas, and earlier during the day we'll know if WEHA will be bringing that Stella home to you, South Jersey. We want to thank you so much for all of your support down through the years. For those who support the 8 for 88 campaign, we're happy about that. And for those of you who have supported in many different ways through your prayers, Deacon Hawk always said, for nothing less, we need your prayers. Yes, we do need your prayers, but we need your cash too. All right, so we want you to pray and give us some donations for WEHA. Again, you can go to our website, www.wehavegospel.com, and donate. Click the donate button and donate to WEHA. Well, I'm getting ready for our first caller, who will be calling in the person of Dr. Sandry Bermudez, and she is her husband is the former mayor of Vineland, New Jersey, and she is the CEO of the HAN Foundation. So she is updating us on things that will be going on, that are going on in that part of the region. Okay. I'm moving this right on up here. Hello, Dr. Bermudez.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing great.
Yes, you are an intentional woman, and I thank God for you being my friend.
Thank you, Dr. Witherspoon. How are you?
I am doing wonderful. I know that you will be introducing Dr. Cruz in a little bit, shortly, but we want to talk about things that are going on with the HAN Foundation and things that you've been doing globally.
There's so much going on. I'll tell you, 2019 was an amazing year, but 2020 and what's ahead, I'll tell you, it will be it's already had a grand start. But missions is a part of our vision. And one of the things that the HAN Foundation has is a global vision with a local view. What does that mean? That means that although we travel the world and we do what we must do, what the focus is to equip and educate and embrace the people, and above all, show them the love of God at a global level, we serve also at a local level. It's so important to always keep in mind that we are here, and one of the main reasons we're here is number one, to praise and worship our God, but number two, to always remember to love the people, embrace the people, empower the people. And so our focus, more than ever in 2020, is to grow even more and expand in the realm of loving the people and letting them see Christ through us.
That is wonderful. That is absolutely wonderful. I attended the Tasha Cobb concert. It was off the chain.
I'm still receiving testimonies, people that said to me, you know what, I never have been to church. A friend invited me. I decided to go. And you know what, the decisions that night to follow Jesus, and we didn't make no altar call. We were the reflection of Christ through praise and worship. And I have to tell you, Tasha Cobb brought the house down.
Oh, she did.
You were there.
I was there.
You were there, Dr. Witherspoon. And it was just a powerful presence of God. What an anointing.
Absolutely. Now, there's some things that are coming up that I wanted to make sure that my listening audience was aware of. And I want you to talk about it.
Well, March, that would be the 6th, 7th, ending Sunday morning, the 8th. And I know many people will be back to their churches Sunday morning, but for those that can stay till Sunday, it's till Sunday. We will be having with us none other than Real Talk Kim, who's an amazing communicator. She's not just a woman of God, but she's an amazing communicator. And I just love the way I call her, she is real. She brings it on in a way that very transparent, yet with a lot of love. We're also going to be having Angie Stone, actress, and singer with an amazing testimony of the power of God and how her life has been transformed. We will have Dr. Loretta Pierce, the CEO of Covenant Cookies, and to be sharing her testimony of what God has done. I always say with her, he took her from rags to riches, from a $200 check to where she's at today as a multi, but serving God number one above all. We'll have Dr. Cheryl Action Jackson from Dallas, Texas with us. We'll have, she's never been to our area, Dr. Lee Lewis. Dr. Lee Lewis is the CEO of Women of Wealth and a number of other magazines. Now, Women of Wealth, if you travel, I'm a world traveler, every major airport has her magazine. And it's
Wow.
they are on the newsstands, they're right next to Oprah's. Oprah Winfrey magazine. But I'll tell you what, these are just some of the women that will be there. We will also have Willie Alfonso, the chaplain of the New York Yankees, and a number of other men speakers. We will have sessions during the day on Saturday, both for women and men, and general sessions will be in the evening. But it's going to be an amazing weekend, Dr. Witherspoon. Raul Sanchez was also here with us when we had Tasha Cobb.
Right.
And he will be there live, and he is just amazing. We got to see him and what he does with his accordion, and there's another side to him as a worshiper, and the way he plays the piano, and just the way how he ushers us into the very presence of God. It's going to be an amazing weekend, and we call it The Gathering. We call it The Gathering, See Beyond, and we focus on that. Though we are many, we are one. The body of Christ, we need to be united. United, united, united. That's a key word for me.
Absolutely. And united we stand and divided we fall. You have so many
That's
people
right.
who are going into different directions. But when we're united, we have more of an impact, especially in the kingdom. In the kingdom. And in case people don't know, who is Rio Sanchez, in case they don't know?
Raul Sanchez, well, let me tell you, he is the CEO of Ranch Music, an amazing recording studio out of San Antonio, Texas. He is also one of the owners of Grand Network, which is a TV network, and he is the CEO of Mountain Network. There's quite a number of things, and he is the owner of Hebrews Coffee. That's a global brand of coffee, but above all, he's a man that loves God, and he's a man after God's own heart that will quickly share with you that he's become who he's become, all because of Jesus.
Absolutely. Now, Real Talk Kim.
Real Talk Kim. Let me tell you about Real Talk Kim. My sister is an amazing, first of all, she's a businesswoman. Number two, she comes out on that show, Chatterbox, and she is a senior pastor of her church in Atlanta, a mega church. But you know what I love about Kim? In my travels and as I've been standing right by her, Kim will minister to one like she will minister to millions.
Wow.
And she brings the word with such power, and she's very relevant. And I love the fact that she comes with a voice of experience of what she's been through. And she'll share immediately, that's where I was, this is where I am, and it's all because, and she'll break it down for you. She's to me, when I'm beside her, it's contagious.
Wow.
That joy and that power that's within her, it's just contagious. It's going to be a transformational weekend, no doubt in my mind about it. The gathering is exactly that. a time where you come and you receive the word, but it's not just that you receive the word. You will be impacted by the word that comes forth that weekend when Real Talk Kim shares with us.
Absolutely. And you know what I like about you and your conferences? Whatever mindset that you go there in,
Uh-huh.
when you leave, you have a different mindset. And a lot of times, people are defeated because of their mindset and the way that they think. You got to
Mm-hmm.
change the way you think in order to. Now, you got to have a plan, but you got to change the way you think. And once you change the way you think, a lot of things will change for you. Your vision can be clear.
Absolutely. You know what? What I believe this year is going to be a year. Now, people are talking about 2020 clear vision. There's definitely a shift. A shift. You know, when you begin to think the way God thinks, you see the way He sees. You'll speak the way He speaks. You'll hear the way He hears. The challenge becomes accepting the change.
That's true.
So I tell people, just make the exchange. Just make the exchange. Take on His likeness, and you'll fit right in. We need to be more like Him. And my focus is always less of me, more of Him.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you gotta change, and that's, and no matter what we do, if we don't change, we gotta want to change. We gotta want to change in order to become better and to be who God has called us to be. Of course, this is a community talk show, but you have such a fabulous conferences, and you bring in top-notch people that I wanted to make sure that my listening audience knew about it. And where is it going to be held?
It's going to be held at Chestnut Assembly of God in Vineland, New Jersey. That's 2554 East Chestnut Avenue, and that's starting Friday evening at 7:30 p.m. Now, I'm going to tell you, and I'm saying it out loud, Friday night I am going to open it to the public. So I'll tell you what, if I were in your shoes, I get it together and I pack my bags and I head over to Chestnut Assembly of God. It starts at 7:30 Friday evening. Again, 2554 East Chestnut Avenue, and that's in Vineland, New Jersey. If you need more information, you can reach me at 856-725-4925. There's a registration for Saturday. Saturday starts at 9 a.m. till 9 p.m. If you call me, I will give you more details. However, Dr. Witherspoon, I have 20 tickets that I will be putting in your hands so that we can give it out to our audience on the radio. And those tickets are for Saturday conference. It's going to be amazing. Saturday, the lineup is amazing. The speakers are amazing. And the wonderful thing about Saturday all day also is that we have sessions simultaneously going on for the men and the women. There will be 3 general sessions where we all come together, and it's going to be powerful. So maybe you can give instructions as to who or what number of people will call to give away those 20 tickets for Saturday.
Okay, and that's not until March, right?
March the 6th through the 8th. But we can now, every weekend on
Right.
the air,
Yes.
we can give tickets away.
And I'll start with that on next week, giving tickets away,
Beautiful.
because we have Dr. Cruz that will be calling in, so I won't have time to do it today. But from starting next Saturday, which is February the 1st, we will be giving out tickets to that conference on my show. So I
Excellent.
want to thank the Hand Foundation for donating those tickets to my show.
Absolutely. And again, I always appreciate your kindness towards the Ham Foundation. It's quite a blessing to always be together.
Okay. I just found out that we can also give tickets away on the Facebook, on the WEHA Facebook. So,
Awesome.
so that would be great. So I'll make sure that there's some here at the station, so we'll be able to do that. We will be having a break in about a minute and a half. But I just thank God for you. You or everywhere?
You know, it's amazing. Last year, I can tell you that South Africa was amazing. Colombia was amazing. We did all our meetings to prepare and pave the way for what we'll be doing in Botswana this coming August. There's just unbelievable things that are happening. Asia. We also have a show, a TV show, coming on Grand Network. It's called iDesign. It'll be on all the major networks. It'll be on Netflix. It'll be on Roku. It'll be on quite a number of stations. Let me tell you, we need to keep in mind that we belong in all these different places. Even now, February, I'll be in Atlanta at the Marketplace Ministry Conference. We belong in the marketplace. Everywhere where we can shine, we don't have to wear the label. We are the label. We belong everywhere. It's people like you that bring about change.
I really appreciate that, and I thank God on how we hooked up was through Evangelical at a women's fellowship. Well, we're getting ready for our break, so keep it locked. Stay on the line. We'll be right back.
Hey, you like football? I know you like football. You're looking for a place to watch the Super Bowl? Well, we got you a place to watch some dart football. WEHA's gonna hook you up because Gospel 88.7 and 100.3 FM WEHA We Have Gospel presents the Sunday Super Bowl Buffet. That's right, it's a buffet going down where you can watch the Super Bowl and eat your favorite foods. It's a large buffet of heavy appetizers and desserts, assorted juices, sodas, punch, and plenty of H2O. It's even gonna have some halftime games and giveaways. You know when it's happening. Super Bowl Sunday. That's right. Sunday, February 2nd, 2020. Doors open at 5 p.m. Kickoff is at 6:30 p.m. at the Beacon Hall, 243 St. Louis Avenue, Egg Harbor City, New Jersey. Admission is $20 per person, $10 for children 12 and under. And you better RSVP because it's limited seating. You want tickets? Do you want tickets? I said, do you want tickets? The number to call is 609-641-8870. Or you can get your tickets at wehavegospel.com. Super Bowl Sunday, you gotta be at Beacon Hall to see the big game. Of course, we're rooting for the Eagles around here. We're so happy that they got farther than Dallas this year.
WEHA, Christ-centered, community-focused. Deacon William Hawks, President.
You are listening to Christ-centered, community-focused, listener-supported gospel. 88.7 and 100.3 FM, Atlantic City WEHA. Don't forget to follow us on social media by searching We Have Gospel on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Find out more at www.wehavegospel.com.
Hi, I found a toy dinosaur over on the playground by Smith Street. It had this phone number on it, and, well, I just wanted to make sure the dinosaur made it back to its little owner.
Yeah, hi. I think I found your kid's stuffed animal near the swing set. Just want to call. I'm sure she misses it.
I know my son gets super attached to the smallest things, even a fire truck, and I'd be happy to drop it off. The toy was a little muddy, so I cleaned it up, and it's good to go whenever you're around.
When I found the little sippy cup, I just had to give you a call. It's for a kid, you know?
We'd do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 6 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger and give all of our kids the meals they need to grow. Learn how at feedingamerica.org.
What's the difference between going to Atlantic Care's Comprehensive Stroke Center and going anywhere else? It's the difference between watching your grandkid ride a bike and teaching him how to ride. It's the difference between seeing your daughter get married and walking her down the aisle. It's the difference between losing what you love and living for it. When it comes to treating stroke, The difference between going anywhere else and going to AtlantiCare is everything. We're the only healthcare program with a neurocritical care team available 24/7. We have a diagnostic neuroimaging lab, and our neurosurgeons are always ready to operate if needed. And we meet the toughest standards to be a designated comprehensive stroke center. Why are we offering world-class stroke care right here?
Mrs. Thomas, your husband is in the right hands.
Because the difference is worth it. To see the difference, visit atlanticare.org/stroke
Today we
care.
decided to walk to school. The light counted. 15, 14.
31? I mean, 13?
We took a left on Carroll Street. Danny's smart, but he gets distracted.
I
Realized he forgot his homework. I hope he doesn't have another bad day at school.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. That's why there's Understood.org, a free resource for the parents of the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues. Go from misunderstanding to
The
Understood.org.
second best thing about driving home is listening to WEHA. The best thing is getting there. And that's why I'm glad when I finally get home, I can listen to WEHA on my computer. It's easy. All you have to do is go to wehavegospel.com. Not only can I hear the station, I can also see what's playing at the time, as well as what has already played before. You know, sometimes I'll hear a song on the radio and I want to know the name of the song and where I can get it from, you know. And when I need to go to another website, I can always use the pop-out player to keep WEHA playing in the background while I browse the web. They make it so easy for me at wehavegospel.com. You got to check it out.
The Jimmy Whitehead Power Hour, power to the people, talking about the power of the people of Atlantic City, a platform for people to discuss ideas of the community, creating an all-inclusive environment where people of Atlantic City can actively participate in the economic revitalization of Atlantic City's future. This forum will focus on black and white capitalism, working together to create red, white, and blue capitalism. Every Monday from 5 to 6 p.m. on WEHA 88.7 and 100.3 FM. WeHaveGospel.com. The Jimmy Whitehead Power Hour. Power to the people.
If you just tune in, you're listening to In the Community with Dr. Thelma Witherspoon, right here on your favorite gospel radio station, WEHA Gospel, 88.7, 100.3 FM. We have gospel. This broadcast has been sponsored in part by the Hawks Family Businesses, serving our community for over 30 years, and Beacon Hall, turning moments into memories. And also Grace Tabernacle Church, Bishop Wandell Johnson and Pastor Gloria Johnson. And by the way, we want to say happy belated birthday to Bishop Wandell Johnson. And we're right on the line now with Dr. Sandra Bermudez, and she's going to introduce our next guest.
Okay, it's so good to be back, and it's always a blessing to be on your show, Dr. Witherspoon. This morning I have all the way from Puerto Rico. By the way, it just shook again. 4.2 right now in Puerto Rico. We have Dr. Adlan Cruz live. He's at the other end, and he is part of our Hands Foundation as an ambassador. He is the voice at a global level, but he also is from Puerto Rico, lives in Puerto Rico, and he can share with us more along the lines of what's happening in the island of Puerto Rico right now, Dr. Witherspoon.
Thank you so much. Dr. Cruz, thank you so much for calling in on my program on today.
Hello, it's my honor. Hello, Dr. Witherspoon. Hello, excuse my sister, Sandra, Dr. Bermudez. I'm so glad to be part of this. Yes, I am in Puerto Rico now. I've canceled some of my tours. I want to stay here and help in whatever I can do. And my family lives here. My parents live here. Even though most of the aftershocks are happening in the south, the whole island can feel it. And most of the people in the north have been able to help. It's a very different situation from what happened in Maria, in the Hurricane Maria, where the whole island was devastated, and we were waiting for help from the outside, from abroad. And now we feel like we are in here. We're on the same boat, and we're helping from the north. We're sending as many help as we can.
Okay. Now, so from the north, you're sending it to the south. How are the people doing? And did the Red Cross come in? Where are the people?
It's a very unique situation. As we go in the south, we can expect anything as we drive to the south. it's not only how strong they are, because most of them are like a 4-point around that scenario, but it's the consistency. Maybe 3 times a day, 4 times a day. So it's just more than a physical situation. It's also a mental stability. And most of the people are sleeping outside. They have become refugees, and they go to open spaces. And the National Guard has been helping, the Red Cross. But it's not, like I said, sometimes, and we're a big island. It's 100 miles. It's not like a small island. We feel it out here, but we feel like we can help, and we feel in a better situation here. That's why we're driving to the south. It's about a 2-hour drive. So once we get there, we see the situation. We also send in psychologists and doctors that can help. Spiritual matters, also pastors and churches are helping. We've opened also an account that we could receive a lot of donations from Europe and Africa, and the government is doing what they can. We're in a tight situation because right now they try to make everything politic because the elections are coming up. So it's kind of a bittersweet situation where we're trying to help, and some people from outside are seeing it much worse. Right now in the South is where we can receive as much help as we can.
Okay, now it was all on the news that they had all of this supplies that were stored up, and a lot of people got fired. Have those supplies been shipped to the South?
Actually, the supplies were in the South themselves. Yes, they were in Ponce. And these supplies that were found have expired already, because most of them have been there from the time that we had the hurricane, so 3 years ago. So even the water has expired, but they have other items such as diapers and dried food. But it was kind of, like I said, people try to make it a politic matter because they've been there, and now pretty much no one knows how long they've been there, how did they get there. So it's a matter. I mean, the federal government took matters right now into this, and they're just froze there. No one wants to release them until they know what's going on.
Okay, so although they found the supplies, most of it is outdated.
They have been outdated because they were there not for this matter. They were there for the other needs after the hurricane. And most of these items came from FEMA.
Wow. So what can people do?
Right now, we're not counting on those. Most of them are outdated, so even a lot of food expired. And right now, what people can do is send supplies through churches. I would really recommend use reliable foundations, just such as the Hand Foundation, and send supplies to people that are reliable. And we learned a lesson with Maria, so we don't want to make that mistake again.
That's right.
So now, who do you suggest? And I know you're saying the Hand Foundation and churches. Are there any churches there that people can send stuff to? I mean, I'm sure, I know that there are, but are there any designated places?
Well, you are in New Jersey, right? You're stationed in New Jersey right now.
Right.
There's people that are listening, of course, they can count on Hand Foundation, and we'll make sure that we get supplies and donations as well. The supplies that are needed are towards the refugees. They're trying to return to their normal lives, and when during the day they go back to work. Some of the schools they're functioning. Not all of them, but people are trying to get back to their normal lives. And when they get back to their refugee camps, it sounds like a war, but sometimes it looks like a war zone. How the buildings are not functioning anymore. The town of Guanica is the most affected. Peñuelas, Adjuntas, and those little towns, they look like ghost towns during the day. You know, people don't want to be around because they don't know what to expect.
So you said that the people are also sleeping in the street, like refugees?
Yes, they are.
They're sleeping on the streets. Yes, they don't want to go back to their homes. They don't feel safe, so they create camps, open parks. Like if you have baseball parks, you know how we are with baseball. There's a baseball park in every corner.
Yeah.
So we have camps around, and people feel a little bit more safe there.
Wow. So there's no shelters or anything that people can go to?
The shelters, some of the churches have become shelters, but if these are older buildings, even colonial buildings have been shattered. I mean, they've been devastated. So they feel more secure in camps, like open space camps where there's no electricity or there's no electricity poles or the mountains are far. So they feel more like in an open space. They have more access to, safe, whatever they want to do.
How are the people bathing and using water?
Excuse me?
How are they bathing and if they're in the open space?
The Coast Guard has supplied and all this. They have big cans,
Portable.
Big cans of portable tanks where they can actually bathe and get potable water. I've seen it's amazing how they can organize themselves and helping each other. The mayors have been doing a good job too. The churches have been doing a great job, and there's some foundations also that they come from abroad that have been helping.
That's fantastic. Now, Dr. Bermudez, if people are listening to this show on today, with Dr. Cruz giving a on hand an account of what's going on in Puerto Rico, which is a U.S. territory, how can they get stuff to the Hands Foundation, and what things are actually needed? I guess everything, but what would you suggest that people would donate?
Well, we are announcing Monday morning our official blanket drive. We're looking at tarps. And there are people that literally already started calling us and donating, like BJ's cards or Costco with $100, with whatever every dollar counts, Dr. Witherspoon. And what they're doing is bringing it to our offices over on Landis Avenue. That's at 735 East Landis Avenue in Vineland, New Jersey. Again, the number is 856-725-4925. They can call us. They can come in person to make these donations, and they will also receive a tax write-off. So there are different ways, and if they contact us, we'll gladly send them an email with the details or give them an answer over the phone. But there is a dire need. And what blesses our hearts is that although we're here and we're starting to accept these donations, I will also be flying to Puerto Rico. But Adlin is also, Dr. Cruz is in the island of Puerto Rico, and he is a voice for many and an ambassador, not just at a local level, but at a global level, and he's present. So he keeps us current also with what's going on and what the true and real need is. Just this past week, one of the things that Dr. Cruz did, actually one of the cities, Peñuela, he went there and did a live concert. By profession, he is a concert pianist.
Absolutely.
Has played for Kings and Queens, but he's also going there where the need is and bringing, music is a language that brings life, brings joy, and that is also something that he just did this past weekend.
I saw that on his Facebook page that he had done a concert down in.
What's amazing about this, how I saw the response of my friends that are musicians and virtuosos and maestros in the South. They are actually living the same. They're going through the same situation. When I do concerts in the South of Puerto Rico, I create an orchestra. I put together an orchestra, and this time I didn't want to. I didn't feel like, how do I ask them? They're going through this situation. I want to I want to do it from the north. I want to bring virtuosos and maestros from the north and help. But then I thought, what if I just call them and say, if you want to do it, you're welcome to it. Everyone responded. They said, we need to do this. We need to get together. We need to bring healing through music to our own people and to our own town. So that I think God gave me that wisdom, because that was the best decision, to include them, to involve them in helping each other. And they said, we feel very, very useful doing this. It's not only bringing supplies, but also bringing music and bringing healing. And we did a big concert there. It was an awesome time, and I think that's the first of many.
Well, you know what? It also says a lot about you. I've heard you play classical music at the Hand Foundation, and you are phenomenal. You are phenomenal. And I heard you say that you suspended your concerts to your tours so that you could be in Puerto Rico doing whatever you needed to do to help, and that says a whole lot.
Yes, man. Well, it's easy to do it from abroad if you're doing a tour. I mean, we have many artists. I want to speak for myself, but there are many artists that are abroad. They keep traveling, and it's easy to talk and criticize the government. But I mean, why don't you just get here and get going and get to help? Because that's where people can actually need it. Is to you be there. I mean, just be there, be present. Not only come here 1 day, 2 days, and talk and leave again and keep your concert tours. For me, it's more important. I mean, I've been doing this for 33 years, so what's more important in time for my people to be here for them.
Absolutely. What is the mental state of the people? Because this is not the first earthquake. What is the mental state of the people that you see when you go out to help in the South?
3 days from today will mark the first major earthquake. It was, for us, major will be like 4 point, maybe 1.2. That's major for us. We had not had one from like 100 years ago, where we lost. If you look in history, we lost lots in the South. So we have one of the biggest plates in the world. If you see the map on Google Maps, you see the island is surrounded by a big abyss. So right now we're getting back from what happened 100 years ago. So it's very strong as we had.
Yeah, and the mindset of the people.
It's very strong as we had the first one on December 28th.
Mm-hmm.
December 28th was the big, I think it was 0.4 point something, and that's huge for not having to go through this experience ever and ever. So the constancy of 3-4 times a day, the aftershocks, most of them happen at 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. For some reason, when that happened the first time, we thank God that we didn't send our children to school, and people were not working. People were at home, and they were more comfortable, more alert of what the surrounding. If it happened at midday, it would have been devastating.
Wow.
But most of them are happening 3-4 o'clock in the morning. That's why people are sleeping outside. That's where people are more alert. That they're expecting. They're not sleeping at all. It's very hard. So that's why the mental stability now is not in the best condition, and we need all the help we can get from pastors and from a lot of psychological help. A lot is needed too.
Is needed. Now, is there a central location where the psychologists or doctors are meeting?
In the South right now, every refugee camp is ground zero. We used to have like one,
right.
But now it's going throughout the South. Like at least 5 of the major towns are being affected. So each town has a refugee camp. Each town has a ground zero. They're all important. They cannot move from one to the other because if anything happens, then they cannot get back to their home or to their major town. So right now, every town is secluded. It's actually unique in their own case because of what they're losing every day.
Wow. Wow. And you said that after they sleep in the refugee camps, they get up and they go to work. They go to work. After they sleep in the refugee camps, they get up and go to work.
They've been trying to go back to their normal lives, I think the last week or so, because a week ago when we were trying to do more and send more help, the camps were packed during the day. They were very full of people. And I saw that. And then when I went back during the day, I saw that the camps were the people were scattered. And I asked the mayor, he said, no, they're trying to get back to their lives. They have to keep going. They have to keep their minds busy. So they've been doing that, but as soon as they finish, they go back to their refugee camps. That's where they feel more secure because of the National Guard being there.
Okay. So basically, the things that are needed will be channeled through the Hand Foundation, and then the Hand Foundation will be shipping that stuff to you, and then you'll be disseminating it.
That is correct.
All right, that's good. So if you're listening, you need everything from toothbrushes to blankets, everything, right?
That is correct. And I can supply a list for you, and you could have it for the next show.
Okay, I really would appreciate that so that people can donate. Dr. Cruz, I thank God for you and what you're doing in Puerto Rico. I know that you're a very humble person, but you are a mighty man of God, and you're an accomplished person. And you could have kept on going on your tours, but you stopped. And we thank God for that. What would you like to leave with our listening audience, Dr. Cruz?
Well, how broad is your audience? What are you covering? New Jersey and.
Well, I'm also on the internet, so people can hear. We're on the web. We're on the web as well, so people can hear me all over the country.
So we're live on the web too. Okay, good. Yeah, I'm requesting also, of course, is my humble request. I'm here. I'm being part of it. I'm not only an advocate or a spokesperson, but I'm going through this. I also did the same during the Hurricane Maria. We were expecting the hurricane. We had days, but I decided to stay and go through it. You know, I want to tell my grandchildren that I was part of it. I wanted to be here. If you are from Puerto Rico, everywhere that you're living, you feel part of what's going on. You're being affected either or, because you have families. So if I was going to be affected somehow, I wanted to be here. So now this was not expected. Of course, it's an earthquake, and there are many afterwards. So once it happened, I was like, I have to be here. I have to be part of this because we need all the help we can get. The foundations are great assets, and I thank Dr. Sandy Bermudez for doing this. And we are able to help because of the help that we've been getting. Most of them were getting to the north, and then we supply them to the south.
Okay.
Because that way we're getting involved ourselves. We're getting involved as people that are being part of the event, but at the same time, we don't want to feel outsiders. The whole island is being affected, so all the help we can get, we are needed.
I saw a day ago on Facebook that there was a protest down there.
The most of the protests right now, what I'm saying, people are trying to make a political issue out of it because of the supplies that we found, or they found in Ponce. But that's not as big as it's not a huge manifestation. They're just trying to criticize it. If the government knew about this, they're trying to get to the point what happened.
Right.
But right now we don't want to be in the what happened mode. We want to be in the let's work mode.
I understand.
If we keep going what happened, I mean, we're just talkers. We want to be the doers. We want to make it happen. And I'm using my talents. You know, I'm a concert pianist. I can raise funds by doing concerts. There are surgeons that can help by using their talents in doing that. Everyone has a special gift. Use it.
I like
use
that.
it to help your neighbor, to help love your neighbor, and that's the way that it'll help. If everyone can chip something, then it'll make a big difference.
Thank you so much, Dr. Cruz, for calling in on my show today. I really appreciate it, and I'm going to make sure that I get out to my listening audience all of the supplies that are needed, and people can send that to the Hand Foundation. And Dr. Bermudez will make sure that you get it and that you're able to help the people there and our brothers and sisters in Puerto Rico. Dr. Bermudez, what would you like to end with?
Well, I would say to the people, the community has always responded. Let's continue to be a part of the solution, and let's keep in mind that though we are many, we are one. The Hand Foundation, right, even at this time, is extending itself to the island. I'm from Puerto Rico myself, and we're also extending ourselves to what happened in the Philippines. Now, it's amazing, though, because if we come together, we join together, and we understand that we would do this for each other, for mankind, we will just serve. And so I would ask the community, the people as a whole, and even at a global level, because we're also via internet, let's just do whatever we can. And what we can should be our best.
Absolutely.
Giving our best.
Absolutely. Now, again, give your phone number, Dr. Bermudez, if people want to contact you to send supplies.
That number is 856-725-4925. I'll repeat it, 856-725-4925.
Thank you so much for being a part of our program on today. And we will keep you in prayer, and I'll make sure I get that list out. Did you enjoy our program today? I know you did. Thanks for tuning in to WEHA 88.7 on and 100.3 FM in the community with Dr. Witherspoon.
God bless and have a great day.
You too.
$20 per person, $10 for children 12 and under. And you better RSVP because it's limited seating. You want tickets? Do you want tickets? I said, do you want tickets? The number to call is 609-641-8870. Or you can get your tickets at wehavegospel.com. Super Bowl Sunday, you got to be at Beacon Hall to see the big game. Of course, we're rooting for the Eagles around here. We're so happy that they got farther than Dallas this year.
WEHA, Christ-centered community.